And it seems to me if we want to build a bridge to a rational world that the better part of humanity can cross, we have to deal with this fact. Now, most of us do our best not to think about death, but there's always part of our minds that knows this can't go on forever. Part of us always knows that we're just a doctor's visit away or a phone call away from being starkly reminded with the fact of our own mortality, or of those closest to us. Now, I'm sure many of you in this room have experienced this in some form. You must know how uncanny it is to suddenly be thrown out of the normal course of your life and just be given the full-time job of not dying or caring for someone who is. But the one thing people tend to realize at moments like this is that they wasted a lot of time when life was normal. Okay, and it's not just what they did with their time. It's not just that they spent too much time working or compulsively checking email. It's that they cared about the wrong things. They regret what they cared about. Their attention was bound up in petty concerns, year after year, when life was normal. And this is a paradox, of course, because we all know this epiphany is coming. Don't you know this is coming? Don't you know that there's going to come a day when you'll be sick or someone close to you will die, and you'll look back on the kinds of things that captured your attention, and you'll think, what was I doing? You know this, and yet if you're like most people, you'll spend most of your time in life tacitly presuming you'll live forever. I mean, it's like watching a bad movie for the 4th time. Or bickering with your spouse. I mean, these things only make sense in light of eternity. Because even if you live to be 100, there are just not that many days in life. So what is the point of life? I mean, is anything sacred? Does such a question even make sense? And I think these questions do make sense, and there are answers to them.
If you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what gifts, what talents, what voice, what stories will die with you?
And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what leadership, what books, what gifts will die with you?
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
But every time that happens, you get back on your feet. You get up just as fast as you can, no matter how many times you need to do it. Remember this: success has been and continues to be defined as getting up one more time than you've been knocked down.
And I'm telling you, you're not where you want to be financially, and it's not going to take 20 shots. You're not where you want to be in your marriage, and it's not going to take 20 shots. You are not where you want to be in your personal life. You are not the person you want to be, and it's not going to take you 20 shots. For some of you, it's one more shot. For some of you, it's 2 more shots, and you have not given yourself enough credit to say, I just need to get up a half hour earlier, and my whole life will change. I just need to get up 1 hour early. I just need to work 1 hour longer.
You, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever.
I will not go down that way. I choose to fight back! I choose to rise, not fall! I choose to live, not die! And I know that what's within me is also within you!
I need to stop hitting that snooze button. If you were to make that one change, that one sacrifice, you would stop dreaming and start living it.
Okay, what we truly have is this moment and this.
What would amazing look like for you? What would amazing look like if you were amazing? If you know what amazing looks like, then why haven't you gotten there yet? I want you to say, the reason I'm not as amazing yet because I hit the snooze button. That's why I'm not amazing right now. The reason why I'm not amazing right now is because I couldn't get up early enough because I told myself I'm not an early person. I don't get on Twitter every blue moon. I don't get on my app every blue moon. The reason why some of you will never be successful because you're not immersed in it. When you wake up in the morning, look at your goals. Your goals gonna tell you what time to get up. Are you hearing me? Your goals gonna tell you who you should be hanging out with. I can't tell you, but your goals gonna tell you how much sleep do you need. You might not need to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for your goals, but your goals are going to define what time you get up, how you live your life, how you move, when you say yes, when you say no.
Think like the person you intend to become.
I want your dream to be so clear, so vivid, right? That when you wake up in the morning, all you got to do is step in your dream. The difference between people who talk about it and people who do it is one simple word, application. They hear it, and they don't just hear it, they digest it, and when they digest it, boom, they do something with it. If you are alive, I know you ain't reached your best yet, right? You got more. You could do more. You could see more. You could be more. I know that all your energy, all your strength, all your skills, all your capabilities, like you're not operating on 1,000%. I know there's still some things you can do, some limits that you could push, some buttons you could push, some opportunities that you haven't explored. And the second thing I know is this. I know that you are not experiencing life to its fullest.
Like life itself is a process of becoming, a part of man's ongoing historical drive to manifest his consciousness outside of his mind, in front of his eyes.
Greatness is when we overcome our own boundaries, when we surprise ourselves.
When mapped out, when we get the long view, when we get the big picture.
That's greatness. Ask not what the world needs, ask instead what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. What makes you come alive? What gives you the goosebumps? What gives you the chills? What makes you well up?
Somewhere deep inside, you know what kind of person you were designed to be. Ask yourself, how would the person I'd like to be do the things I'm about to do?
Greatness is upon you, and it's time for you to bring that thing out. There's power in consistency. There's power in doing something over and over and over and over again. There's power in practice. Don't rush the process. Yeah, feel me. Some of y'all are trying to rush the 21 days. It takes 21 years to be 21 years old. Don't rush the process. Trust the process. It's a matter of life and death. Yes, it's a job you don't want, but that job is going to propel you and position you for the next job. It's not just a class. It's the rest of your life. Are you hearing me? It's not just working out. It's an extra year on your life. It's not just eating right. It's another 7 years on your life. It's a matter of life and death. And so your life is in your hands. Your dream is in your hands. Your future is in your hands. If you're going to get in the zone, if you're going to do fourth quarter living, you got to be comfortable with hitting the wall. If I got any runners out there, any fighters out there, any athletes out there, anybody that's ever stretched the limits, you know that in order to get to the zone, you got to hit that wall first. You got to hit that brick wall first. What does that mean? You got to get to a place in your life where all your strength is gone and you're no longer operating on strength, but now you begin to operate on will. You get, listen to me, you get to a place where you're not It's not this no more. It's not your strength. It's not your natural strength. You off a will. And many of you, I declare right now, many of you have never gotten a will. You've never operated on will. And so you got to hit the wall. And what I mean by hitting the wall is if I run for 30 minutes, right? If I run for 30 minutes, I got to say to myself, every time you run, Eric, you got to get to 35 now. You got to go 5 more. Once I get to 30, my body say, yo, E.T., let's stop. Because the last 5 days, we hit 30. We did 30, Eric. It's time to stop. We did 30 minutes, and what I got to do is I got to push it to the limit. I got to push it to the limit. I got to be willing to hit the wall. I got to be willing to get past crying. I got to be willing to get past hunger. I got to get past self-defeat, saying you can't do it. I got to be willing to get past a low self-esteem and say I deserve it. If anybody else deserves it, I deserve it. It's mine. Listen to me. You got to be willing to hit that wall. And for most of you, when you get to that wall, you give up, you quit. You got to get to the place where you can hit the wall.
There is a system. There is an orbit that you've been functioning in, and that most of the people around you contribute to. There's a social construct that contributes to you coming back down again. That defines you. And people are comfortable with you. They don't mind you leaping up every now and then, as long as you come back down with us. In fact, people only hate on you when you try to get away. As long as you come back down and fit back in the system, people don't have no trouble with you. But the moment you pack up your bags and say, see you, wouldn't want to be here, I'm out of here, people have a problem with that because you're leaving the orbit. And you're going to have to break the gravitational pull. You're going to spread your wings and you're going to sail into your destiny. There's a reason you survived. There's a reason you endured. There's a reason that you cried but didn't faint. That you crawled but you didn't collapse. That you fell down but you weren't shattered. You're a new person, but before you walk out of that door, you gotta have a new mind. You cannot believe the old labels. I want you to stop speaking negativity over yourself. You are an answer. Walk like it, talk like it, plan like it. The world will change their opinion about you the day after you do.
And this might sound callous to say when there may be many other aspects of your life that seem in need of being addressed. When you're struggling to find a career or you're sick, but it's still true.